Hello and welcome to the lecture on Boomi terminology change. I'm happy to have you in this lecture. The objective of this lecture is to help you understand Boomi terminology change in detail. So without wasting other moment, let's dive deep into the subject. In this lecture, we will talk about one important update in Boomi platform, that is the Boomi terminology change. This is something every new learner must understand, especially because you may still come across older documentation, blogs or videos that use the previous terms. This is important to know because Boomi are moving away from these terms, so it is important to know. So let's walk through what changed, why it is changed, and how to understand both old and new terms without any confusion. So first one is, why did Boomi change its terminology? So Boomi has grown from being a pure integration tool to a full enterprise platform. So this platform now basically includes integration, automation, data, API management, and Boomi AI. As the platform expand, right, Boomi needs terminology change as well to represent accurately today's platform capabilities, and also it is simpler for the new learners. It also matches the industry standards as well. Also to reduce confusion for customers using hybrid and distributed environment. So the old terms like atom and molecule were unique to Boomi, but sometimes difficult for the new customers to understand. Now the new terminology is more universal, modern, and aligned with distributed architecture concepts used across the industry. So what terms are changing? Let's look at the main terminology changes you will see inside the Boomi platform. So old term to the new term. The old term is atom, the new term is runtime. Earlier, an atom referred to a lightweight runtime engine installed on a server or a machine. Now the industry friendlier term is runtime because that is exactly what it does. It runs your integration processes. Second term is molecule. Now it is called as runtime cluster. A molecule was a group of atoms working together with load balancing and a failover capability. The new name is runtime cluster, which clearly explains it is a cluster of runtimes working together. The third term is atom cloud, which is now called as hosted runtime. An atom cloud was a Boomi managed group of atoms in the cloud. The updated name is hosted runtime, describes this much better, right? A runtime managed and hosted by Boomi. Environment is the word which has no change. The concept of environments like dev, test, and production remains the same. However, these changes do not affect how the platform works. Only the names are able to make them clearer and easier to understand. And what has not changed? Even though the names have changed, all the underlying functionality remains exactly the same. How you deploy the integration process, how load balancing works, how the runtime groups behave, how scaling works, how failover and clustering works. This is simply a renaming, not a technical redesign, right? So Boomi intentionally kept the behavior unchanged so that the existing customer do not face migration issues. Documentation remain consistent. All the past training materials remain usable. You can still understand older videos, blog and screenshots. Only the terminology has been changed. Technically, there is no change in the design. How to read old documents or videos? You'll still find the old terms everywhere, especially in older Boomi blogs, YouTube tutorials, or community discussions. Here is a simple way to interpret them. When you see an atom, think runtime. When you see molecule, think runtime cluster. When you see atom cloud, think hosted runtime. That's it. This mapping ensures you won't be confused when switching between old and new content. Why this matters for you as a beginner? As you begin your Boomi learning journey, you might use older Boomi documentation, community answers, older PDFs, older screenshots, YouTube tutorials, customer project documents. They may use originally atom or molecule term. So by understanding this terminology change early, you will read any content without confusion and understand conversations when you do with the Boomi users as well. Also for following older architecture diagram, it's easy to understand from a new terminology perspective. Also to interpret the legacy project document correctly, where they have mentioned atom and molecule, now it is called as runtime and runtime cluster. This lecture prepares you to work confidently with both old and the new terminology. In summary, the Boomi has modernized its terminology to match the broader enterprise platform vision. Here are your key takeaways. Boomi updated a few runtime related terms to simpler and industry standard names like atom to runtime, molecule to runtime cluster, atom cloud to hosted runtime. No technical functionality has changed, only the naming. So older documentation might use the old terms, so knowing both is important. Maybe they have changed the documentation to use the new terms, but you should know both the terms together. This small update makes learning Boomi easier, cleaner, and more intuitive for the new students. I hope you're now familiar with the Boomi terminology change. Well, that's the end of the session, so let's wrap it up. By now, you should be able to explain Boomi terminology change in your own words. Thank you so much for your attention and listening till the end. I wish you a fantastic day. Bye and take care.